Hi there. Welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. Okay, excuse this little setup problems here. I'm happy that you're here. Please say hello if you're here. Don't be shy, okay? I've had one heck of a day, so I will be so happy to talk to, at least chat with people. Welcome to Real Talk. Nails and glitter, yay! Thanks for being here. This week's discussion topics, as always, are anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption in America. So that covers pretty much everything. I have kind of a mixed bag that I've prepared for today. So I hope if you have any topics that you want to discuss, please jump right in. Hi, Gary. Thank you for being here. Yay. I'm so excited I was just really excited for this show tonight. I don't know why, but I just love it. I love having people come around and getting to talk to such wonderful people. This show is meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their voice. Mr. FS Black, hello, what's up? One heck of a day, but I'm happy you're here. Kitchen Politics, you're here already. Cool. Nice to have you. I hope you're feeling better. I haven't even asked you. Okay, I'll finish my intro and then I'll oh my God. Okay, Vernon, you're here too. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm never going to shut up. I'm just extremely happy to be here tonight. Hi, Neil. I know, I almost forgot it was too, but then I was like, I have to do the show. Well, thanks for being here, you guys. There's a lot going on and it's been really stressful and I want to know what you guys think. I really do. This show's meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind and to serve as an educational tool for white folks to learn the truth about our real racial history. And actually anyone in a historically marginalized group is here to help teach everybody and to tell us what they really think. All right, so it's called Real Talk. And of course, anyone who's in a numerical majority group can learn. So I learn here all the time. And that's what this show's for. Global TV, thanks for being here. Hi, Dean. If you could slap someone in the trap. Oh my gosh, you're so funny. That is the best. Dean asks, if you could slap someone in the Trump administration, who would you slap? Oh my God, I'm going to sit here and ponder over this. I can make the big decisions, but this is just like, oh my God. Really, a better question would be like how many, I'm not a big violent person, but I'll think about it. Okay. That's a funny question. Very funny. I might not slap them. I might do something else to them, but anyway, yeah, you know what? I'm going to take the high road. Yeah, right. I just want them out. I don't care what happens to them. That was a very cute question though. So before we start, if I want to introduce myself, I'm Angry Soccer Mom. My kids don't play soccer. I'm not really angry. I'm more devastated over life. But, other than that, Gary says, Dean, a whole lot of them, especially half pence. Oh, my God, I love that. I wouldn't mind having a word. I'm not really about physical violence, but, I will guilt them out. I would love to have them in a room for an hour. Just to guilt, it wouldn't work. They have no conscience. But I would love Trump and all his clan. And yes, I mean his clan in a room. And it would be almost like a sociological, I would get an honorary PhD for like studying them because I don't understand who these people are and who they, don't even get me started. But that's a great question. So anyway, I am Angry Soccer Mom. I run this YouTube channel and I do live shows and interviews and put up videos. So if you like what you hear tonight, please consider subscribing. I need all the support I can get. And I won't get into it, but I used to run Facebook, lots of Facebook platforms, but now I got booted out for life. Nails and glitter. Narcissists only care about their own fragile feelings. Yeah, I know. You know what? I've actually been watching Nails and Glitter, watching tapes on like narcissists, like professionals who know, psychiatrists and psychologists who study this, and I'm kind of learning, I guess. But All I want is him out. I will do and help whatever way I can. He is a horrible, horrible human being, and I don't want to hurt him. I don't want bad things to happen to him. I want him out of our lives so we can try to make this nation a better nation. So anyway, enough of me blabbing away. I have a couple of announcements, and then we can get right into content and anything you want to discuss. If you have something to say and I don't know about it, then you get to provide the information and we'll join in. It's absolutely fine. So if you want, let me see, until further notice, I'm not going to be Ronald. Yay! Thanks for being here. Very happy you're here. Until further notice, I will not be doing the Tuesday show, but I'd like to start it back up sometime soon. But I will do tonight's show until my last breath. Don't even go there. Also, if you want to call in and just have like a quick little conversation, I would love it. Nails and glitter, real narcissism. I'll send. Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. I've only, sampled a few, but I've had some personal encounters, I think. But anyway, thanks, Nails and Glitter. I appreciate it. The number to call in is, you can't call in during my rant or I'll ignore you. 347-732-5284. So just going on here. I put out this week my third video on my friend Billy Shelton. He's one of the original Spaniels, which is a doo-wop group from the 50s. And he gave me the honor of doing some interviews with him for 5 hours. And it was amazing. He's an incredible storyteller and his life is amazing. And he has wisdom and he's a wonderful man. I just loved every minute of it. I think I have maybe 1 or 2 more videos to put out for him. I have something to ask everybody. He and one of his friends, who's also rather famous in the music industry, would like to come on. I haven't confirmed it yet, but I heard, rumor has it, that they'd like to come on and live and just talk to people. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I would just love it. So that could definitely be something that could be happening soon. And I hope everyone will join in. Repeat, the phone number again. Okay, sure. It's 347-732-5284. So I'd love to know what you think about having them on. If you care to write me privately, that would be fine. And we'll get started. I hope you got that, Neil. Oh my gosh. So I'm excited and I'd love to have them live, hoping that people will ask them questions because I spent 5 hours interviewing him. So I've asked, well, actually I still have more stuff, to be honest. I do still have more. So but anyway, I think they're going to come on live. You're welcome, Neil. Thanks. I kind of read it fast. Billy was referred to me. Billy was referred to me by a friend named Neil. And I'm thrilled that I met him, and now I'm going to meet his other friend, I hope. If you have any friends that you think would love to share their stories, I love doing interviews. It's just so fascinating. You get to hear about people's lives. So don't be shy. I really don't have a ton of connections. So if you have connections, I will be very thankful to get me connected. So, and let me see here. Finally, I wanted to make sure that everybody here knows if you want to talk about the pandemic or anything, you are absolutely welcome at any time. I know it's not maybe on topic per se, but sadly, everything seems to lead back to racism, bigotry, inequality, and corruption in America. So please don't be shy if you want to express yourself. It's absolutely fine. And tonight, I only have a couple things that I prepared for. They're kind of intense. Mr. Effelsbeck, I don't care enough to do harm to Trump or his idiotic administration, but maybe just place him in a straitjacket and have a transformer treatment like the movie A Clockwork Orange. I missed that flick. But yeah, I think it's just, oh my gosh. Well, when you hear my rant, I want to see what you think. And I wrote this rant kind of in a rant-like state. My rant speaks to that. And my rant speaks to our culture. And, I'm pretty upfront. I kind of say what I think. Not everyone has to agree. So I just tell me what you think when I'm done with my rant, because I think I'm going to address that really, really soon. The topics tonight, I have a man was gunned down in Georgia a couple months back, and I want to talk about that a little bit. I picked a topic that was kind of at my discretion, and I can race through it if people aren't into it, but I was extremely interested. I read an article from some doctors and saw a video and an article and another article who are on the front lines of the COVID-19 virus, and they outlined what they still don't get. And I found it fascinating. So I'm hoping you will too, because at this point, we all know if somebody gets this, they go into the hospital and I'm sorry, you're alone. And for me, as a, person who's a little neurotic, okay, I admit it, I would never leave my loved one alone in hospital. Not a chance in hell. And that's why part of this is a little bit stressful for me, in that you don't have a choice. And you're leaving your incredibly sick person in a hospital. And I won't get into my psychology. I probably need like a panel of Freudian disciples to figure out what my problem is. But I know that a lot of mistakes happen in hospitals, and especially under this kind of pressure. So knowing what they don't know is really good for me personally. And maybe it will be for you too, or maybe you want to skip out on it because it's not for everybody. But anyway, and my last thing, a 14-year-old child was basically beaten up the other day by a California police officer, and it's not pretty. I couldn't post it anywhere but on a Facebook group that I got into, because you can't post on YouTube children having bad, that are, being beaten up. They don't let you do that anymore. Darn. But it was disgusting. It was a little black boy, actually. He was very young. He was 14. It's just a child. And it showed the police officer beating the living shit out of him, basically. And it was appalling. Of course, I watched it 5 times because it looked like they hit his head. I mean, it was just horrible. And I just thought about my own kids and your kids, and this can't continue. So anyway, one last thing. I put a podcast on the other day, and the reason I put it on, and this is where my little evil side comes in. Okay. All the things that Trump's done. I hold him responsible for those 7 children that were killed in custody at the border. I hold him responsible for all the terrible things that he's done. But the number one thing I feel he should be responsible for, and, it's just me talking, it's very unlikely. He literally has gotten away with murder. It's a podcast I put up that I thought was fantastic. Obviously not me, somebody else, of an attorney making the case for Trump to be charged with gross negligence for murder. And he is a homicide attorney. It has been for 30 years. And he said, abso-stinkin-lutely, that the minute he gets out of office, he will probably be charged by multiple states. And I don't wish him harm, but I truly believe I've come to the point he needs to be held accountable. He's a murderer in my mind. And there's a lot of reasons. If you've watched every video I've ever made, you'll know why, but there's a little plug for me. Anyway, so while you're thinking of topics that you might want to talk about that's gone on, I have a rant for you. And then make sure to tell me what you think about it. And I'm going to go really fast. Okay. And this is just off the top of my head. I came up with this today because I feel it. America is like an immature young teen, maybe a preteen, whose ego is so fragile that they must be right about absolutely everything, even to the point of their own demise. Does anyone have or have had a teen like that, where they just they're preteen, your IQ drops right away, they know everything, like a child who's still figuring out who they want to be when they grow up, which is kind of normal, and who they will be. America refuses to look to others for wisdom. We'll do things our own way because, preteens, we're arrogant enough to know everything already. I'm still hoping to get my IQ back from my kids at some point. I heard you lose 50 at around age 12, and I lost mine at age, like my first kid was age 8, maybe. My IQ suddenly, I was like not smart. Because of this, our country is currently paying the toll with our collective lives. We are that stubborn teenager whose pride is so delicate. We act against our own best interest again and again and again because doing otherwise would make us, look weak or not competent or I don't know. We have a bad self-esteem. I don't know how else to put it. Sadly, over the last 50 years, we've allowed the wealthiest Americans to practice capitalism unchecked. And it's no longer, as I've said many times, an economic philosophy. It is an accepted way of life that's caused a great divide between the wealthiest people and the people who are literally struggling every single day to put food on the table. And that's all before the virus. Money and greed over humans and empathy is our motto, and it's as natural as taking a breath of air. We've normalized lack of humanism to pursue the accumulation of wealth, and not for everybody, but as long as it's for us. Let me make this more tangible. We have a healthcare system and a prison system that's for profit. We profit off of people's sorrow. That's not humane. We have schools that get their funding based on the wealth of the community. So poor neighborhoods, maybe ones that have been redlined, end up underfunded for their schools, and they continue the cycle of poverty, propagating disadvantages in learning. That's not humane. That's not a humane way to be. We blame the victim for their personal hardships rather than correct the system that failed them. That's not humane. We allow a culture of systemic racism to endure in Black, African American, brown, and other people of color in their communities, not allowing them to accumulate wealth so there's more for us. And then we pretend we don't see it. That's not humane. We devalue humanism and empathy. If you're poor, it's because you don't work hard enough. That's not humane. If you're sickly, it's because you're undisciplined and you probably made poor choices. That's not humane. If you're hungry, it's because you're probably too proud to actually go out and get a job, or maybe you find the work too demeaning, so you're just lazy and won't do it. That attitude is really effed up. That's not humane. If you're depressed, it's your own fault. Cheer up already. It's all in your head, you know. It's not that you were actually born with a medical condition, which science has not fully comprehended yet. And while none of these things I've listed are humane, sadly, I believe they are truly our American values. How do I know, you might ask? Because I'm alive on the earth in America, and I see, and that is what we value. We don't value being good to our fellow humans. We value money. Not all of us, but enough of us that this is where we're at. So when Trump talks about making America great again, these are the values he's talking about. Greed over humanity. How about instead, let's create a better union, a more perfect union, by finding and valuing our humanity. Sorry, I'm getting off on a rant here, like out of reality. Let's get back to reality. There are nations around the world who are beating this pandemic, or at least they're doing markedly better than we're doing at managing the loss of life and the treatment of their fellow humans. They use best practices, some of which came from them, but some of which they borrowed from other people. They actually listened to other nations. They had the wisdom to open their eyes and stop the incredible arrogance. Why did they do this? Because these things worked. They kept the death toll low. They saved lives. Maybe someday America will choose lives over greed and money. But for now, let's just do it our own way, even if it's literally killing us. So That's my rant, and I'm sticking to it. Let me take some comments. And I want to know what you think. All right. Let me see here. Global Entertainment TV. Since he hasn't been impeached by now, he probably isn't getting off. You're right. Yeah. I swear I just want to, I know this is not possible, just impeach him over and over and over and just until he realizes. I don't even care if he realizes. But it's maybe not as much him as his clan and his followers. They're out in the streets right now going, we have the right to make everyone sick. I'm like, oh, don't even get me started. I want to know what you think about that too. I don't know if you've been watching. People are actually out in the streets. What a slap in the face to all the people who are literally killing themselves to take care of sick people. And these guys are just, talk about disrespect. I'm disgusted. Yeah, nails and glitter. The system didn't fail. It's a success. Yeah. Well, apparently, it's just this nation does not have my personal values. I don't know that it ever did. Maybe I was just, my white privilege and my hope and all that jumbled together, but it doesn't. Touche on that. Yep. That's true. I skipped people already. Global Entertainment TV. America is a spoiled child that needs to be, I'm going to say spanked. Spanked. Yeah. And I don't spank, but let me tell you, we are obnoxious. And that's an understatement in my mind. And no, I don't, people are watching, I don't hate my country. I love my country. I challenge my country to be better than this because our nation must be better than this. And that we are not will be the end. And I think it's too late anyway. Not trying to be the soothsayer of doom, but let's be real. Not enough people give a shit. Just saying, they don't. Not enough people care. Freedom isn't free, and all the people who came before us who had their lives taken to get us all these amazing things, we all just started, not all of us, but most of us, at least enough of us, started taking it for granted. Checks and balances. They've been circumvented. All because we just wanted to be really, really rich like Trump, And it's disgusting, and I'm disgusted. I'm not disgusted at the country. I'm disgusted at the loss of potential. This nation could have been amazing. Sure, we started out horrifically and have had a horrible, horrible, barbaric history. But there's no reason we couldn't today, as a collective, say we're done. We're done. We're going to make this place a more perfect union. And everybody work together. But no, it's just not going to happen. So that's where my upsetment comes in. Mr. F.S. Black and Global Entertainment TV, I couldn't agree with you more. Mr. F.S. Black, I saw that video of the 14-year-old boy being attacked by the police. That I was disgusted. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, he almost pounded that child's head on the ground. I mean, it was just, what a bully. Oh my gosh. Big old tough guy. The kid must have weighed 80 pounds max. It was ridiculous. It's pathetic. It's called Divide and Conquer. Yeah. Global Entertainment. Thank you. Take a couple more comments here. I'm so happy that everyone's here. Let me back it up. Global Entertainment. Most Americans are afraid to stand up to the government because they depend on the government to keep them safe. I've lost a lot of faith in our government. I did at one point have some faith. But these past years, I mean, even as a white person, these past years, I'm out. I think it's too late. Too many people not giving a crap about their fellow human. If it makes them rich, I mean, I don't know what you thought of my little rant, but honestly, it's a simple one. Collectively, this nation has really crappy morals, and we're paying the price. Nails and glitter and Global Entertainment. Yes, I agree. And a lot of people have never believed in their government. So it's more of a revelation to me because as a white person, we buy into the company line. And it's a nice company line, but it's just not real because, especially in the last 50 years, and you can say especially anytime, but maybe I've just been here in the last 50 years. No, I'm just kidding. Nails and glitter. Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan, not to mention China. Yep, 100%. South Korea, Germany. Gigi, hello. They are selfish. Basically, they're selfish. Global entertainment. Americans are not like other country citizens. Other nation citizens will burn down the building to get their rights. Well, sometimes. Yeah, I think we all just take it for granted. Not all of us, but some of us, at least the masses. A lot of the white masses do. And why do I say that? Because that's the numerical majority. And if they didn't like it, it wouldn't be happening. I'm all into, I'm all into the numbers in the sense that whoever the majority group is, as long as they're, fairly large, what happens is under their watch and their responsibility, because we have not held our politicians responsible. Maybe we like what they do. I don't know, but all I know is we have Trump, we have his clan, and we have his followers very happy. I won't go on and on, but I might. No, just kidding. Anyway, let me just take more comments. Mr. FS Black, these protesters are the embodiment of white America entitlement. Amen to that. They believe their social lives are more important than the collective health and safety, right, of the nation. It's mind-boggling. Honestly, this is probably the meanest thing I've ever said in my life to anybody. But if they want to go have a social life, why don't they go to the freaking hospital and hold someone's hand who's suffocating to death with no one with them? They're dying alone in their room, drowning. Why don't they go do that for their social life if they need to have some social life right now? Yes, staying home is hard. Yes, having no money is hard. And I don't know the half of it. But you know what? I get the strange feeling dying's harder. Dying prematurely is probably harder. I'm just a bet. So I am really not happy with those people. Thank you, Mr. FS Black. I could not agree more. Nails and glitter. America is a military state. That's definitely interesting. Gigi, Get TV. Trump has been impeached. He wasn't removed because of the Senate. Right. And it's like, that's all lovely and stuff, but he's still here. And he's still impacting everybody I know, everybody I don't know in America. And it's not okay. I'd like to start impeaching all those people who support him. Quite frankly, I'd love to see them impeach. If we can't impeach, let's play a Trump. We can't impeach Trump. Let's do it to the people around him who support his horrendously barbaric behavior. I don't know. Maybe I'll start a petition. I know it wouldn't go anywhere, but help me make it go somewhere. I think that there needs to be somebody needs to be held accountable. And if we can't get to him, how about the people who are upholding his sick ways? Anyway, I'm blabbing. Sorry, I always do this. Oops, there goes my water. Let me see. Nails and glitter. By the way, there are rumblings of a national strike May 1st. Is that the rental strike that you heard of? Rent strike, mortgage strike, and job walk-offs. I don't blame anybody for doing that. It is an insult what they've given people in America. What an insult. Horrible insult. And as one guy said, I heard a guy, I don't know if you guys heard this, it was insanely awesome. And he was like on a rant. He sounded like he was from like New York or Jersey or something. He was on a rant. He was older, like, 50 plus, whatever, maybe 60. He was not that old, but he was, he was a kid. He was ranting and raving. And I was like, dang, I wanted to be him. I'm gonna put it on. I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't put it on, but I'm gonna put it on because he was like, I was like, yes, say it louder for the people in the back. So I should, my son was like, don't put that on. He says I should only put my own stuff on my channel. I'm like, no, people want to hear this. I was just like, the guy just said it like it was, kind of like a New Yorker, but he was good. He's like, that's our money. He was screaming. I can't do an impression, but it was amazing. And he was funny too. Oh my God, he was funny. I mean, funny because he was so spot on, of course. But Anyway, yes, nails and glitter. I heard that. Anyone who wants to participate, just don't buy anything May 1st. Yeah, that's that's kind of what a lot of people are doing, probably. Neil, change of serious topic. We better keep an eye on North Korea. Something is going on. They're hiding from the world. If Kim Jong-un's sister takes charge of the world is in trouble, she's evil. Yes, yes, and yes. And I know you know a ton about North Korea, and I've been eyeballing the stuff with North Korea. And I worked for a company that did charity work for North Korea, not for them, but to maybe for people who don't know. I used to work for a company that is both American and South Korean company, and their goal was to, as people crossed, obviously you don't really survive the DMZ, don't do that, but as people crossed the border of China, which at a certain point was probably easier than it is now, it's most, if you can get across, what was happening is the people were getting picked up for, they thought, oh, yay, we're free, or they thought we're released in China. Well, little did they know that they were victims of trafficking. And so this organization openly, talk about guts. I loved earning money for them because it was like, they just got it. They openly, obviously there's secrets. You could be a transporter and you could try out for a job there. And what they did was they had people living along the border of China, secretly, big border, and they would have safe houses for them. And obviously there were some Chinese involved, and so they don't, mix with that, and they would help the people. So that they would stay out of trafficking and they could go to the USA or they could go to South Korea and get resettled in resettlements. Unfortunately, because of the starvation that goes on in North Korea, it's a tiered system of starvation. It's used as a weapon. I don't know how familiar everyone is with it. By the time they get, like, if Americans are present, they're still terrified of us. It's horrible. They're not able to help the people as much as the people have been mentally abused to the point where it's really hard to get them to have a nice life again. I know some probably do, but the studies aren't great because, I should probably do a video on what I used to do sometime because I found it really interesting. Maybe people would like that, but it's really, really, really awful. Let me take some more. I'm blabbing. I always get on tangents, but anyway, yes, South Korea. That's where I got that from. South Korea did, and they had their first person, at least at the time we thought their first person was considered sick the same time as us. They were ready. They jumped on it, and we can talk later about some of the things they did that were absolutely spot on. Let me see here. So yeah, Kim Jong-un, he's a real sick guy. His father was too, and the sister, yeah, not good. That's you're right, and definitely we'll have to. There's just so much happening. It's so crazy. Great point, Neil. Thank you for bringing that up. Dean, they won't be happy with whatever kind of country they end up creating. Are you talking about North Korea? North Korea? I got so behind, I don't even know. Like, tell me more. But yeah, well, yeah, the sister is, just as evil. But if that's what you're talking about, but yeah, it's not good. Dean, which country and who is that? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Nails and Glitter. It's hard. I would love Colin all the time. That would be so cool. Or you could just come on the show. Okay. Clinton was impeached and he was not removed from office. Right, Neil, absolutely. And Michelle, thank you for being here. Jump right in if you have anything to say. I'm thrilled to have you. Oh, America, these asshats currently running things. Yeah, it is pathetic. Okay, Dean, I'm just saying, wouldn't you love, I know this sounds evil, but I would love to just start building cases for impeachment, like we have to build cases to impeach everyone around him. If we can't get him, then we'll get his little buddies. And I don't know what else to do. I don't like to think nasty and dirty that way, but here's the problem. I learned about 6 years ago, something that was one of the hardest lessons, top 5 that I've ever learned. When you're dealing with nasty, I mean really nasty, I don't mean I mean really nasty, you don't play by the rules. You can't. I'm talking really evil. And I'm not saying breaking the law, but you can't, your morals are to never lie. No, you do what it takes. And that is a lesson somebody my age had to learn the hard way, because I always was one that keep my morals and values at all cost. And I can't tell you more, but I have, let's just say, sometimes for the good of all, you got to do what it takes. And this is one of those cases, I think. So, can I say just my opinion? Right, Andrew Jackson was not removed. I know. I wish he was removed, but you know what? We got so many problems in this country right now. The saddest part is having a man who is basically an inhumane, racist, misogynist, bigoted piece of what, not knowing anything else about him, knowing that he is an inhumane person, and he's making all these decisions we'd never be able to come up with. Who's going to raise their hand and say, I know there's going to be a horrible pandemic and I know he's going to, no, nobody knows really. The man is making thousands of decisions that are, slipping under the radar, of course. Some aren't. But that's what we get when we elect, or when a man who is absolutely void of morals gets put in office. I mean, it's the one tenet of voting. You don't vote for someone who's a corrupt piece of shit. You just don't. I don't know if that's rocket science, but I mean, it's just, anyway. So that's this pandemic. It just brings out the worst of the worst in him. And I truly believe he should be held accountable for murder. I just think I don't want to get into it. I'm going to try to stay unemotional here. All right. I will stop blabbing. And Dean, I get it. Sadly, Nails and Glitter. America can go more towards socialism or full-on dictatorship. Democracy never stays democracy. Right. And we're at the tail end, and we're going to go that way. And he'd love to be king. And what a setup he has. What a setup. Oh, I'm disgusted by him. I don't know if everyone else feels that way, but I'm just disgusted. But yeah, great point. At the end, I guess we're at the end of the, Democratic Republic, because you know what? That's how it goes. Fall of Rome. Okay. Good point, Nails and Glitter. Sad point, but a good one. Michelle, you liked booting out all the people around him. This makes me happy. I don't know why. I hope his fat ass is just hiding from the. I honestly was questioning myself, because I'm thinking to myself, I was thinking some really mean things, and I'm not really like that by nature, but like I said, it's like, this is enough to push people over the edge. Yep, that's funny. Mr. FS Black, if Kim Jong-un's sister does take over North Korea in the near future, God help us. If Trump tells her to smile more, I don't think she's going to take that from him. Yeah, no, that's some family. Scooby-Doo, I'd love to be king too. Can you be my... You are so sweet. No, I cannot, because you see, I live in my fantasy of a democratic republic where we have no kings and queens. No, I'm just kidding. Very cute. Nails and Glitter. It's terrifying and hilarious. Yeah, it's like, I don't know whether to laugh or cry. It's like so scary. Raise your hand if you thought we were going to live through this stuff. I mean, I'm kind of older, and a lot of you guys are probably younger than me, but seriously, raise your hand. Did you think we were going to go through this bullshit? I thought, I guess I'm probably part of the problem then. I didn't think that we were close to when we got Trump, I started having actually about 2 years before we got him, I started kind of questioning what's going on here. But I never thought I'd be alive to see this shit. Oh my God. I guess I don't know. But yeah, Mr. F is Black, 100%. Thank you, Scooby 2. I think you might be in trouble. Global TV. So you wear your heart on your sleeve, eh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do. If you're talking to me, yes. I'm like, it's behind me, maybe. Yeah, I do. Okay, I'm looking behind me. Is there someone here? Jillian, welcome. Yay, I'm happy you're here. Good job to have you here. Any other comments? Just jump right in. So that was my crazy rant. Humanism. Got to do it. Dean, nope, I didn't see America going in this direction either. Crazy. Okay, that makes me feel better. Yeah, because I thought it swung back and forth, and I didn't know. I knew, because I'm a white person, I knew how bad. I mean, I've studied and I'll never know the real truth because I'll be studying it my whole life. But I knew that this was pretty bad. When I was in Compton as a teacher, I saw, oh God, it was horrible. These beautiful, brilliant children. Oh my God, I didn't even have kids yet. I was like really, really young. And it was amazing. And I used to always think, if only it was one of the Bush presidents. It was a long time ago. One of the Bush presidents was president. And I thought somebody should kidnap him and bring him down to Compton to sit in my class for 1 week. And it would change his world. These kids are the life of our nation. And we are doing such a disservice to them. But anyway, I'll go on and on, which I do. But yeah, I didn't know. I thought it was swinging back and forth, but I didn't know how many absolute, blatant, overt racists there were until Trumpism kicked in, and everyone's not afraid now to act like a jackass in public. It's unbelievable. I knew they were there, but I thought at least they'd have the intelligence to shut the you-know-what up. But now it's unbelievable. It's surreal. They aren't afraid to be the real them. And some people say that's better. But at this point, not so great because he's still there. So he is enabling them. Nielsen Glitter, a pandemic is one of the most likely things to affect the population. Democracies often turn into dictatorships. Absolutely. Jillian, so please talk about 45 encouraging people to drink that was, I couldn't even put that as a thing. I guess that was this week because I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, the makers of these products have to put out warnings because, I actually went up to my little girl and I said, excuse me, I actually did this. What a terrible mom. I go, excuse me, if somebody told you to drink bleach, what would you say? She's like, no. And I said, right. Why would you say it? She goes, because it will, she's really shy. It will, I said, it will what? What will it do, honey? I was like, say it. She's like a little girl. I think a 3-year-old. She goes, it could really hurt you. I said, keep going. She goes, it will kill you. I'm like, yes. It's like, but then, of course, we were all laughing going, well, you wouldn't die of the COVID virus, of course. So, the whole thing is just, I can't talk about it, Jillian. I'm going to scream. My little baby girl knew that. Okay. So very terrifying. How about the video that had him completely confused, saying he wasn't out? He had never left the White House since 2020, except to go to a ship. And I'm like, excuse me, ring, ring, psych eval, please. Thank you. This guy has yeah. That was, I just haven't normalized it. So everything he does, I'm like, oh, I'm appalled. But I really am appalled. The guy's, he's off his freaking rocker. So I'm trying to talk about it, but I can't. The disinfectant thing, the whole, oh my God, insane. I think he should be the first to try it. He should show us. But yeah, great point. I forgot that was like this week, wasn't it? Or was it last? Oh, the news cycle is just like by the hour. Very funny, Jillian. Global entertainment TV. We have heard and seen some disturbing things about China lately, and being in Africa. Oh, yes, we have. They're being racist and coming in illegally and doing terrible things to Native Africans. Did you know? Oh, yes, I do know. I know more than I want to know. Yeah. I actually have been discussing it with some of my clients. It's very, very hard to discuss it with my clients because I could get fired on the spot and they could get in lots of trouble. Like it's still communist China, but we've talked around it a bit, and it's been very interesting. I work for a company in China. I don't know if you guys all knew that, just by chance, but I've been following Philip Scott. He really covers it well, and so do a couple other people. It's disgusting. They already had like a lot of problems with racism of Black people. I've seen documentaries. I've seen it's really bad, and I started to research it. I want to do some videos on it. If anyone wants to collaborate with me to do that, I would love it because I have to really know my stuff to do a video, and I'm just kind of branching out and understanding that. Even though I work for that company, I'm not. It's hard to get good information, and I always check my stuff, and so I don't want to. I'm not, I guess, at the point where I can get that information from authorities and people who can, not in China, but here, people who are, I used to know a guy who, well, that was for North Korea. Oops, wrong country. I used to know a guy who worked for the government. He was like my go-to guy for North Korea, but that was a long time ago. But I wish I had an inside scoop on China, but nobody really does. So maybe Trump does. Well, he thinks he does. But anyway, yes, I am very aware of it. It's disgusting and it has to stop. And you know what? They're starting to catch on and that they're not going to be used and abused. And I totally support them all the way. Absolutely not. They have had so many of those countries have been just torn apart by us being, non-African people or whatever. And it's not okay. And they need to get educated so that they can fight back and protect what they have left. So I feel really strongly about that. So I've definitely been reading articles, and I just got to get better at it, like understanding it thoroughly. So I feel like I can talk about it at least. But great point. Thank you, Global Entertainment TV. Thank you. Disinfectant, nails and glitter. Yep. Phil's stories are really, really good. He's got some inside scoop too. So that's really cool. Michelle's heard about it. Yep. Nail glitter, they are being racist towards the Africans also. They're being horrible. Jillian, I understand you have to worry your income for your family, but you must consider finding another job that isn't owned by Chinese. Yeah, it wasn't owned by Chinese when I started. That's part of the problem. It was owned by, actually, probably worse, it was owned by South Africans. Oh my God. It was actually three different countries owned the company. It's a long story. We'll talk. God, if only. Yeah, it's more complicated than what meets the eye. Let me see here. Nails and glitter. Those loans were predatory to begin with. Yeah, I mean, they're getting absolutely screwed over. And part of the thing, Jillian, because I've met so many people, so my clients from so many of my clients from China are speak English. They're absolutely open, and it's not. I want to try to explain something, and I'm not making an excuse, but they don't have the right to, not like we do anymore either, but they don't have the Chinese people and the Chinese government are separate entities. I'll just say it. They are separate entities. It's not like we the people. It's their government tells them what to do and they do it. So I don't look at it that way. If anything, I look at it as I'm giving them like an example of a humane, like American who is nice and kind and cares, and so that they don't have this like horrible image like everyone's a Trump, because they don't have a say over their president. Not any, zero, none. I mean, not the average person. They have nothing. They do what they're told. Or a big drone comes and chases them. I don't know. They've been doing that to them, actually, chasing them with drones if they don't wear a mask. It's kind of scary. But anyway, I just wanted to, I know I'm really, really, really into like morals and values and all that stuff. And hasn't gone without a lot of thought, but I'm with you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But thank you. I'm glad you felt comfortable enough to say that to me, because yeah. Yes. Let me see. Neil. Oh, Dr. Fauci. Yes. I don't know how to say this because I've been reading about it, but I haven't read it out loud. Remdesivir. Okay, that. Right before I came on, I saw an article. I'm like, no, that would be so God, please, anything. Also, I've seen, I posted a couple things on the estrogen. Okay, guys, don't freak. The men are dying at such higher rates, and through so many of the countries that they're doing some real good experiments at SUNY Stony Brook University on the estrogen. Not forever. They're doing a 7-day trial on it. It seems there's a connection. They've done some rat studies as well long ago on the connection by inhibiting little female rats' estrogen levels. It's made it so that the rat gets sick just like the boy rat. So they're hoping that, it might not be the answer, but it's about 15 or 20% to 80% death rate. Men are dying of this 80 to 20 or 80 to 15. They're not 100%. Obviously, we're missing a few percentages. So they're doing that study too. And if I could only say it, remdesivir. Okay, I won't keep talking about it, but yes, any information. I saw that right as I was coming on. So I sure hope something showed 30% improvement rate in a clinical study. Was it peer reviewed? And how many people? And all the questions. It has to be scientific and stuff. And you don't have to answer it right now, obviously. I'll look it up after. I sure hope so, because I have some stuff to talk about that. And hopefully it's stuff that is kind of new to people so they can be like, I learned something that's important. Because it seemed it was only out for an hour when I got it, but that was a couple hours ago. So you know how this thing turns, like, it's crazy. But that's awesome. People are really, really kicking ass trying to figure out what's going on. They really are. So, and that, it's just so nice. So I posted something about, I've been posting a little bit more videos on some of the COVID-19. And I know that's not really my thing. I've posted a ton on what's going on with Black Americans and other people of color. But when I come across something, I think I have to share it. I love you guys. If they haven't seen this, I got to show them. So I'm a little bit, so if they're kind of boring, just skip them. But it's really incredible. If I'm sitting here researching all day long, I want to share what I found in case somebody didn't see it. So that's the name. Okay, something like that, right? Jillian, I hope it's a breakthrough that's going to be fully effective and hopefully a vaccine or cure for this virus. Yeah, I have some interesting stuff. They are really getting down to the crux of it, sadly, because they have so many samples of people. And people all over the world are doing amazing scientific studies. And there's going to be something, you guys. But as it turns out, this thing is much more deadly and attacks not just the lungs. I don't know if you guys have been hearing all this. It attacks almost every organ of the body. And it is the brain as well. Now, there's some studies going on for mental illness, that it attacks the brain and can cause some mental illness, which absolutely makes sense. It's causing extreme problems in the intestines, extreme problems in the kidneys, and extreme, it's not just the lungs, sadly. And also, I don't know if you guys also heard, many of the heart attacks and strokes, they are starting to believe that, I know one study showed it doubled in like a 4-week period, doubled the amount of strokes and heart attacks in one area that was being watched. And they think it's the COVID virus, because it causes blood clots now. So, I mean, they're getting down to it. All right. I'll stop being like the pretend doctor. I'm repeating what I've heard from actual real doctors, not Trump. Sorry. But of course, let me see. I hope so too, Jillian. But people, from what I've read, and I'm sure you've read just as much, take this seriously. For the love of God, take this seriously. This is some really horrible. I mean, obviously a pandemic is, but this is, oh my God. They don't get what's going on with this thing. It's not acting normal like a virus. It's acting like a crazy virus. Dean, I've been manicuring the wilderness I'm living in. Open up views of the mountains that are obscured by tree branches. Cool. You mean because you can't really like you've been going on hikes and stuff like that? And trying to look at like nature? Is that what you mean? Tell me more. Let me see. Did I skip anybody? Nails and glare. The real heroes are the people working on this every day. There are some clotting issues. Yes. Yes. There was, and I posted this video because it's something that's extremely, extremely true to my heart. I don't know how else to put that. There was a doctor who committed suicide. She couldn't take it. And nobody really knows she did have the virus as well. And her father is a doctor. And a view from send us pictures. Let's go. I'm really lucky right now. I live in the forest, so I am extremely lucky. I feel really blessed because if I lived in a city, I think it would be more scary. I really do. But yeah, that's really cool. Send us pictures. That's awesome. Because I mean, if people are sitting at home, you got to find stuff to do. They're still studying antibodies. Yep. And they are sure about the immunity or the reactivate. Right. And that's part of the thing. A lot of these young kids are like, oh, I had it, or oh, I'm sure I had it, or, you've never felt safer. Yeah. That's good. I'm really glad that it sounds like you're in the country or something like that. It's kind of a good place to be. I have some extra rooms. Anyone want to come over? Your videos are informative. Don't worry. We watch them when you put them on the video. Thank you. Seriously. Because I get a lot of opinions, and if I see something that I think, okay, I haven't seen that, and it doesn't seem like it's spreading in all the local news, and I mean, not local news, but all the national news, I'm like, I have to tell you, just even if you've seen it, then don't watch it. It's like, I care, and I want everybody to see things. I really appreciate your support on that. Foothills in Twain. Where is that? I mean, you don't have to tell me the exact location. Tell us all where you live. We'll be right over. But, oh, cool. I'm from California, actually. That's so funny. Very good. Okay. Foothills. Got it. That's funny. I didn't know you're from California. Sweet. I lived there a really long time. So my next topic is, did you guys hear about the man in Georgia? He was 25 years old. He's like a kid. I mean, he wasn't very old. He was basically like hunted down, and I don't know what's going on because it's a really fluid story. This morning when I listened to the case, this is a man out of Georgia. This is 2 months ago, like February. Yeah, almost 2 months ago. And his attorney was talking, and it was like they were hunting Black people. It was really screwed up. I saw the story before it came out on videos and everything, and I was reading it, but there weren't enough details for me to delve in. Like, once again, if I had better connections, I could have jumped right on it, but poor me, whatever. So I waited, and then it came out with Roland Martin brought it out. That's the first one I saw. Talked to his attorney this morning, who really had been on the case less than 24 hours. And I wanted to tell you about it. And you might have seen it because it's been around now, but this morning, really early, it had been around. He had been on the case for 24 hours. On February 23rd, a 25-year-old man who's black, named I'm being so funny, Amadou Arbery. Amadou Arbery, I believe that is the pronunciation. He was out jogging, and he passed a white man who was standing in his yard. The man was standing in his front yard as this kid's jogging by. I say kid because, he's pretty young. And the man thought that the jogger looked like somebody who had been doing a string of burglaries in his neighborhood. Okay, that just is kind of a weird thing in general. According to the police, Gregory McMichael and his son Travis McMichael grabbed their guns, got into the truck, and chased him down. Okay, so this is all just too weird for words. They called it self-defense. They killed him. They chased him down, and they killed him, and they are not in jail, nor is there an investigation going on or anything. These two white vigilantes chased a guy they thought they recognized down. What the actual, you know what? These two men were not arrested for murder. The father of the shooter had worked at the district attorney's office for like 20 years. And he was a police officer before that. These towns, I don't know anything about it. Oh, wow, the virus is mutating again? Dang, really? I did not read that, but dang. I didn't realize it did that unless it jumps to a different species, but I really don't know much about the issue. Guess I have a lot of reading to catch up on. The district attorney almost immediately backed out of the case because he had obviously a personal relationship with the defendant. So he turned it over to the next jurisdiction, who also backed out of the case for the same reason, which you're supposed to do. So the case is now with the third DA in Liberty County, South Georgia, where it's been sitting for 2 months. This family lost their child. They killed the guy. They killed a 25-year-old black man. And when the attorney for the family of the man who was murdered called to say, so what's going on? The case hadn't been investigated yet. So here's briefly what happened. I'll make it really quick. They pulled Amadou they pulled up to him while he's jogging, basically in their truck, and said, "We want to talk to you." And he said, I don't know what he said, or he didn't know them. But what authorities did was they insisted that he stop and talk to them and answer questions. Okay, this man didn't know them. Would you, if a truck started chasing you while you were jogging, would you be like, "Oh yeah, what's up? What's up, dude?" No. I'd be like, "Okay, get the hell away. What's going on here?" That's just plain weird. According to the attorney, the shooter and his father were said to be acting under police authority. The attorney was told that the police were on the scene within seconds, so they must have been called before they went out in their truck. How slow of a jogger was this guy? This is all, it just doesn't make sense to me. Things need to make sense. Southeast Asia is having, I'd heard that, but yeah. Oh yeah. I'm interesting because a lot of the clients of mine are going back to school or going back to work. They kind of went back. So boy, this thing's going to be pretty much insane. Counsel for the family believed the shooter and his father likely had some sort of communication with the law enforcement, and because they had arrived simultaneously almost before, according to Roland Martin's report and the attorney, before they shot him. So they got to be there. So something is very, very wrong. Obviously. The New York Times said the prosecutor of the case had it for a few weeks, that the men acted in self-defense. They chased the guy who was jogging. They had the guns. So this is just crazy. So there's no indication that he was robbing. They claim he was robbing a house that was a house under construction, which didn't have doors or windows. So, and if you look up the Georgia law, you can't It's not covered. You can't be robbing someone's house who doesn't have a door. Okay, go figure. I don't know. But anyway, that's what they're saying. And that kind of makes sense. Apparently the father says he saw this man in an unfurnished home and decided that he would take it upon himself that he must be burglarizing the dwelling with no doors. Very strange. So the Georgia Bureau of Investigation has been contacted, and a lot of people are calling them. If you guys want to call them and say what the actual, we heard about this case, what's going on, I think the family would really appreciate it. I got to get that number. The family received his file 2 months ago, and they have not heard one word back since. How convenient for Georgia. So that is, it just sounded awful. It sounded like if this law sticks, pretty much Georgia, you can hunt Black people, murder them, and get away with it, which is terrifying. And I don't know, that's the case. So I don't know. Have you guys heard of that before tonight? Have you heard of it? Because I saw it a couple places, but the details were, I had to kind of dig for the details a little bit. It's a really awful thing. The next topic I wanted to get into, I was interested in it. I don't know if you will be, but as I said, I got to see, read a couple articles and a video by 2 doctors from Mount Sinai Hospital who were on the front lines, and they were basically doing a quick video in front of their houses. Gary, the Philippines was going to slowly ruin, but has extended shutdown because of new cases. Yeah, it's good to see what's going on all around the world. I think, like my rant said, maybe we should pay attention to things that are working and stop being so arrogant in this country. To Trump, but I'm just really thankful for a lot of the governors who are stepping up to the plate. We are very lucky. Please stay safe. Everything I've read about this is absolutely horrific. People who don't want to hear this, I understand if you need to go because this can be upsetting. I wanted to tell you what these 2 doctors said, and this was just out. Their conversation, they said, has changed over the last 2 weeks. So much, in fact, that they thought it was important enough to do a video and get this information out to the public, so that if you or someone you love gets this and is bad enough to go into the hospital, you will know precisely what is going on with regards to what they do know and what they don't know. And it's a lot. So according to these doctors on the front line, it's gone from a whole bunch of people dying, how many people are being hospitalized, how many ventilators there are available, and whether there are enough masks and protective gear, to something totally different. The doctor said that there's a number of other questions that they don't know about, and the emergency and critical care doctors are all trying to band together and share their information across the world and across the United States. This is a strange virus. Now, I don't know a lot about viruses. Maybe they're all strange, but according to these doctors, and this is all from these doctors, they have a lot of questions, and so do the scientists on the front line. The first question doctors are unclear about is when a patient needs to be on a ventilator. When and if. At first, they were jumping right on it, and there are complications with ventilators. And I'll go a little bit into that based on what I read. The doctor said this is how a patient would enter the emergency room. Their vital signs would be taken in the emergency room. Their temperature would be taken, their heart rate, their blood pressure, their respiratory rate, and their oxygen saturation rate. Remember, oxygen saturation rate. If the person coming in has a mild case of COVID-19, they might have some drops in their oxygen saturation. It's a little thing you put on your finger, and it tells how much oxygen your blood is carrying. And I'm just not belittling people. I don't know who knows what. So I want you to understand. If you go in there, if you go to doctors right now and you're perfectly healthy, you should be about 100% if you're not a smoker. Now, if you're not 100%, it's not a horrific thing, but you can be a little bit off. I've been to the doctors and had that done years ago, but not too much. A mild case will have their oxygen saturation levels at 90 to 95, which is not great. It's doable, but it's not great. If you have a more serious case, the doctor said that the patient will also have respiratory issues. Their respiratory rate and their respiratory, an increase in respiration and respiratory rate and low oxygen, both. But doctors are saying that one very strange thing is happening is that patients are coming in with low, incredibly low oxygen saturation levels, but they look okay. Their physicality does not match the numbers. They don't look as bad off as they should if a person's oxygen levels gone down. So it's been a very strange thing for these doctors. One example of this that actually went viral, I think it was on Twitter, I don't know where, was a woman. And there was an actual picture, and they give privacy to these people, and obviously it's against the law to like be taking someone's snapshot and putting them on. But she was on her tummy, so you couldn't see who she was. And they also had a picture of her monitoring devices. And she was at 54 oxygen level saturation. She was on her cell phone talking to somebody, basically kicking back. The doctor said at this level, he would think her heart would be about to stop. And that was one example. He gave a number of examples. He said they're finding this all over. It's not just him. It's not just their hospital. They're finding it. So they're very confused about this. They said normally a patient in this type of crisis would need a ventilator immediately. But now, in the past couple of weeks, they're backing off the ventilators, even though the indication is they're about to die. So it's very, very confusing. So apparently they're not automatically putting on. So they're learning, but they're learning through kind of, experiment, basically. The doctor said that there are inherent problems with ventilators, which I think a lot of people have heard. The longer you're on them, the longer you're living on a ventilator, your body gets weaker and it becomes more and more hard to get off of it. So now the fear is that doctors are backing off the ventilators because you have to be asleep or knocked out, unconscious, or even paralyzed to allow it to breathe for you. But sadly, once unconscious, many patients never wake up. And another issue the doctors are struggling with, so that's one issue, is the strange difference between the physicality of how the person is and having such extremely low levels of oxygen while still functional. So that's something to really keep in mind. The second issue that the doctors don't understand, because this is a talk about what they don't get, is with fighting the infection, what seems to be an over response of the immune system. That's the second thing these doctors don't get. It's an over response of the immune system. The immune system in some patients goes into what do they call it? Cytokine storm, which means it basically goes ballistic. And I did another read up on what happens. And a man who was having surgery, the surgeon said it was unbelievable. He's never seen anything like it in his life. So this is taking on some life of its own in a very strange way. But what that does is it means basically your immune system goes on overdrive. And there are medications you can give. Anybody who's ever, had an immune issues knows you can lower somebody's immunity temporarily or, but there's a balance. And that's the problem they're having issues with. A balance of allowing somebody's immunity to go way down so that their own immune system isn't basically in overdrive. So as the virus isn't as bad as the actual immune system is worse than the virus. The immune response, I guess you could say, is worse than the virus. So it's very strange. There's no research on it. The doctors are making educated guesses. Another issue, and this is the third issue. the doctors were saying they don't know the parameters for giving anticoagulation medication. And what that's for is people are dying not just of the lungs, not getting oxygen, but they're dying of blood clots to different organs in the body. So apparently this makes you have blood clots. Now, anticoagulants are fine, but they make you bleed. And I'm not a doctor, but I just know a little, basics. And they also allow for, things to get in your body. So it's just really crazy. So those are the three things that they don't know right now. And I'm sure there are others, but those are huge things these doctors want people to know, which I thought was really cool, because when you go in there, if you do, you're alone. And you might get a phone call to your family. You might not. I don't know. There's something I wanted to bring up that I'm going to have to get your input on. This week I saw a video on, I'm just going to scroll down here. Let me just see. As you might know, patients are not allowed to have their family with them, and they are dying alone. And it's usually of suffocation. Doctors are afraid, and they're trying to stay away. And nurses are afraid because, not to be cruel, but because they don't want to die either. And so it sounds like a very, very horrible thing. I don't think death is ever probably like a really fun thing, but this is, in my personal view, a living nightmare to literally be alone. There was a whistleblower tape that was put out. Have any of you seen it? I did not post it. I couldn't confirm it, and I wouldn't, because it was brutal. It was a nurse who had her friend, she didn't want to get in trouble, I guess, or get fired, or I'm not sure what. She's listing one particular hospital. I believe it was in New York City. Did anyone see that video? It was a whistleblower tape that kind of made sense. Everything she was saying, that the people on the front lines are not used to seeing death after death after death. This is not like a war zone, but it is now. And it's becoming week after week. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to realize, like, the mental health alone. So I wanted to know if you saw the whistleblower tape or not. It was pretty bad. So let me take some comments. And that was, everyone's like, be quiet. Okay, let me go back. So the virus is mutating again. It is in some countries, especially China. Nails and glitter. I haven't read that either about the mutation. It's usually calculatable, but we don't know much about this virus. This virus seems to be quite strange. Global entertainment. Southeast Asia is having a resurgence of the outbreak right now. Did you know? And nails and glitter. I knew China was dealing with some resurgence. Gary, the Philippines was going to, right, I already read that. Sorry, a little out of it here. Nails and glitter. New projections say without mitigation, 1 billion people worldwide will contract this virus. At that rate, we will have absolutely. And part of the problem is, as you all know, we're opening up places around the time China is opening up places. Seriously? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's, it's money and Trump's dear election and finances over human life. And it's disgusting in my mind. I find that to be unconscionable. I think it should be tried for crimes against humanity, personally, because his stupid election, he is actually killing people. There's nothing I can say that will do it justice. It's just sick. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hope you in America don't have a resurgence of the outbreak with opening up again since we've heard. Yeah. It's really scary. I think we absolutely will and are. Neil, yes, Gary, that is true in the Philippines. That's what I also heard. Nails and glitter. Oh, we are definitely going to have research all over, and there isn't enough disinfectant. There's not even enough testing. The testing we're doing. I mean, if you watched what South Korea did, they not only tested everybody, they followed up with their background, tested them, and made them quarantine. So, I mean, we are so not doing the right thing. I think it's going to make this thing around, in my personal, like, just what it seems like, which I really have no expertise, zero. It seems like this thing's not going away anytime soon based on how the United States is handling it. I think we have an F minus, which is worse than an F. Well, wait, which one's worse? F plus or F minus? I don't know. This is crazy. Gary, Neil, I have friends all over the world. We keep each other updated. That's awesome. Keep me updated. I want to know too. Nails and glitter. They don't even have Lysol in the stores anymore. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad. The Philippines president, Rodrigo Duterte, has warned violators of coronavirus lockdown measures that could be shot for causing trouble. That's one way to do it. I know China has a drone zoom down on you and like attack you, basically. It's kind of scary, but I think it does the job. I don't know. At this point, okay. Nails and glitter. They haven't had disinfectant of any brand, bleach or isopropyl alcohol, aka ethanol alcohol. Gary, I picked up sanitizer today from one of our local distilleries. Several are, and it isn't too expensive. I have a question. I don't drink, but okay, I'm just saying, don't hate me for it. No hating on me. But isn't alcoholic like that one? Is that one? Can that be like a disinfectant? Because it's like alcohol. I know it's not the same alcohol. It's not, that, but can it does, in the olden days in the cowboy movies or whatever, they used to pour things on people. I'm just saying that, we got to think of these alternatives. I'm just kind of putting it out there. I have absolutely no clue. I was just wondering if maybe people who drank a lot might know. I don't know. Just ignore me. I haven't had dinner yet. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're out of a lot of stuff. So Neil, Gary, I have several friends in the Philippines who have told me the president has made that statement. I think we may both be right, depending on how it was reported, right? Gary, I was told it was more directed at mass protesters rather than individual people that are out. Lots of local volunteers checkpoints to keep track of who is out and about. Interesting. Nails and glitter fails spectacularly. America. Yeah, it's people. I want to know. Have you been watching these people in the streets? It's like they're embarrassing themselves and they're going to get the virus. I don't get it. They're crazy. I saw one video go from state to state to state showing the same type of crazy people talking to the camera. Oh, let me out. I'm in prison. It's like, you'd rather have your life taken and take the lives of other people, because when you get sick, you're going to infect other people. Maybe you are strong and maybe you have all this tolerance, but not everybody else does. What about grandma? What about the person walking by? It's like, talk about selfish. My God. Gary, thank you. It has to be a high enough percentage of alcohol. How about that one you put in the freezer? Okay, I'll stop talking about alcohol. I haven't had dinner, so I'm a little hypoglycemic, so please ignore me. Nails and glitter. Only Everclear is strong enough to disinfect surfaces, but drinking alcohol actually lowers you. I knew that part. Thank you. I knew that part. That'd be like me saying, let's drink double H. No. I meant to use it as cleaner. Okay. Don't put me in Trump's category. okay, yes, it's true about drinking alcohol. They're walking around like there is no virus. And I'm blown away, just blown away. And the conspiracy theorists, it's insanity. They're like, oh, they're exaggerating about the numbers. How dare they? They're exaggerating about the numbers. Can you imagine? These people are on the front lines, risking their lives and the lives of their family and anyone else they happen to be in contact with to save people. And you have complete imbeciles saying people aren't dying. It's unbelievable. Gary, in New York State, masks are mandated to enter a store. Some national chains won't let employees tell a maskless person to leave. Really? See, they just switched that over. Was that like a week ago? Because when I was out and about the first time, and I don't go out very much. I don't get out much, people. There were people in stores who, like, no shit's given. They were just walking by. They looked Irish Myers. I was like, seriously? I was like actually kind of getting like, get away. I don't, you don't care, but I actually care about my life. Sorry, And this time when I went out, there were people, everyone was in a mask. And they still weren't really keeping their distance, but it was much better. But I saw employees who weren't, I saw employees that weren't even wearing a mask. And basically were like, you could tell they were like, I don't care. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let me see here. Global entertainment. People are really selfish in America. You thinking about themselves and not thinking about the safety of the whole collective in America. Yeah, it's like, I'm all for this like individual freedom stuff, but how about a little thoughtfulness, please? Give a crap about your fellow human. If you can't do that, how about your relatives or anybody? It's unbelievable how rude people are. It's unbelievable. I keep saying that word, but it kind of fits. It's unstinking believable. I'm like laughing instead of crying. I promise you. I don't think this is funny. The thoughtlessness and the selfishness is unbelievable. I'm happy for you. If you think you're not going to get it, go to the beach. Just don't get near me though. And know that you are making, people who do that, if they do get it, they're taking a spot of someone who was actually caring. And I just have a lot of issues with that. That's why my family stays locked down. And Nails and Glitter, I heard that your state is considering opening up. Is this true? I was appalled to hear it. So tell me, if you have a minute, just jot down on the messages what's going on in your state, if you have time, or you can always call in if you want, because I want to know what's going on. Because I know in New York State Capitol, people are basically having doing what all these different states are doing, going, we have the right to be. I actually heard one guy say, this was talk about a lot of nerve. He came on, he said, our Constitution doesn't say we have the right to stay healthy. I'm like, are you like on something? Are you high? Like the person, like I was hoping maybe, Neil, we are having a partial opening in Indiana on Friday. Wow. And I don't know what the stats are. And you know what? There is a video I put online. Oh, somebody's calling. Hello? Hi. Hang on one second. Hang on one second. I'm having a little trouble hearing you. So if I'm having trouble hearing you, then maybe everybody is. Let me just pull this line out.